Well, like I always say, why do you need glasses when you have a bottle? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. The title of this video is Without Booze and Dope, where we get our toilet cleaners, our guys that work in the sewer, our guys that come to ruggy, footy matches or whatever to admire those of us who are more attractive. There's several components to today's video. I'm going to try to cover them as quickly as I can. But one of the first things I want to do is tell you about something I've been acutely aware of my whole life, which is that before proceeding, and this was actually there was a video I watched the other night that was, wish I could remember the title and the author, but he kind of touched on this subject, is that my whole life I've suffered from the trophy bull syndrome, in which if I go into a public house, tavern, whatever, bar, that sure enough, the smallest, most grotesquely deformed, ugliest man in that bar, once he has enough liquid courage in him, he will attack me. That's why I stopped going to bars by the time I was 21, 22. Is because you got to beat him down, then wait around for the witnesses to tell the cops that he needs to go to jail, and I get to walk free. That ain't going to happen. So, you know, having grown up in the 60s in San Francisco and stuff like that, and having parents that were born in 1905, 1912, especially my mom never smoked or drank. She was acutely aware of how booze and dope helps ugly people to reproduce, ugly, retarded people. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to point out the fact that on YouTube that some of us have IQs that are 100 to 200 points higher than YouTube's viewers. I apologize. Honestly, I do. Nudge, nudge. Actually, it's not a bad time of day right now. I was about to splash myself. I got some 33-degree water right over there, and I may do it yet. So I've already mentioned the trophy bull syndrome and stuff like that. And in my elder years, as I did in my younger years, by the time I was 25 was the first time I totally withdrew from society, because I was sick of all these ugly fuckers and weirdos and brain damaged, you know, because their moms were drunks and drug addicts and hoes, and you know, they were all like the sons of sewer workers, like what's his name on Jackie Gleason, bro, whatever. I have 11 minutes to try to complete this, which isn't going to be possible. You know, the other day, a week ago, my second video, I knew I was so drunk I deleted it. May mention that here coming up real quickly, is that, let me go back to that right now, is that last week, 1 week ago today, well, a week ago, 7 days tomorrow, I think it was, I was pretty hammered after then I went on to the Boston Loach chat line, and a guy who normally respects me, learns from me, etc., stood me up. For 3 minutes, you know, he gave me the code, Robert Plant, go up, means go up. I waited for 3 minutes in a room. When he didn't show up, I came back and I said, you fucking asshole. You're sitting here talking to retards because I know what you're doing, Mike, you're getting a California check for depression. You're 49 years old, living with mom. You're selling your Luvox and Wellbutrin so you can get pot, which is the true treatment for depression. You're not really depressed. He hasn't shown up here lately because I've really reamed him the other day. And at the same time, I was getting these messages from a guy who wants me to be his Rebbe, when he's not really Jewish. He doesn't believe in God, etc. He was starting to send me these messages, which sometimes he tries to communicate with me by text, and it takes 90 minutes for us to exchange like 200 words. So just being drunk and exhausted like I am today. I've been working since 6 a.m. Only had 90 minutes sleep last night. So I called my BF, my best friend BFF. And it looked like in his schedule that this would be time where he might be able to pick up the phone and talk to me for a few minutes, because normally I send him voice messages, text messages, etc. And not only once, but twice. And the second time, I went into a raging drunk, fuck you. And I'm going to send him a copy of this to explain what happened that night. It was not once, it was not twice, it was 3 times that people disrespected me. You could have picked up the phone, B-Dog, and said, I'm sorry, I don't have time, I'm with family. 5 seconds it would have been over. But no, you decided to piss me off by just pushing a button. Fuck you. Now, okay, I still have plenty of time, 9 minutes. Actually, it's so nice out. It's a little warmer inside the house, but out here in the breeze, it's only about 93 degrees. Lately, we've been getting up to like 96 and high humidity, but still hasn't hit 100 yet this year. Normally, in July, this time of year, in the past, I ask people around here all the time, I go like, you remember the summer of 1980? And they go, no. Now, I mean, that means you haven't been here very long. The summer of 1980, at this time of the year, it was 118 degrees, about 3 or 4% humidity. I kept blacking out from the. So, just want to remind you one more time. Why do you need glasses when you have a bottle? And there's that asshole and that fucking, I know what that is. That's actually a Honda copy of a Harley. What a loser. And I'm shooting in a slightly different direction today and stuff like that, because you got to keep, this may take me 2 or 3 days to upload. I just got through with Verizon tech support again. Actually, I'm doing pretty good. The point I really want to get back to is that I grew up with a lot of people that were not like me. They had no athletic gifts. They had no academic gifts. They had, no intellectual gifts. They had no genital gifts. They had no gifts of the physique. And yet many of them managed to reproduce. And I want to point out again, I'm sorry, I got to adjust this. I feel like a talking head it's because of booze and drugs, If it weren't for booze and drugs and stuff like that, Alexander would have had all those homosexuals to fill his army. They lived off of wine and every kind of hallucinatory, every kind of drug-inducing herb they could run across, purchase, or confiscate, steal. I'm sorry, I got to do this right now. Okay, that's better. You know, this world is actually full of billions of beautiful people who, like when I was young, didn't realize that I was actually a very beautiful person with a perfect physique and a beautiful face. And so actually recently I had some chatline whore living on welfare not realize that these flat cameras, the closer I am to the camera, it makes like the tip of my nose look gigantic. See what I mean? When it's really not. But I'm all for the legalization of drugs except for meth and cocaine, because we need people to clean our toilets. We need people to be sanitation engineers, and we need those little drunken idiots to beat the crap out of them in bars and send them to jail so they can have, YouTube, so they can find their ultimate their gay husband, you know, that's correct term. It's so they can find their soulmate in jail. That's how it's happened so many times. You know what I'm going to do right now? Right in the middle of this, I'm going to do, avoid heat prostration, avoid heat stroke. And that's what I'm going to do. So, every one of you, Catholic, and it's one of the reasons I didn't, the other night when I called, my friend B-Dog knew that I was probably lit by then, and by that time of the evening, he had probably already had 1 or 2 glasses of wine, which is enough for him to not answer the phone. And, because he's afraid of, anyway, I don't want to say. He was afraid of saying the wrong thing, which he certainly did about a month ago. I still have that text where he tried to make a joke about the black crap that was on my solar panels, doing some sort of aluminum stuff, these. No, I was just trying to tell him I didn't catch his joke right off the bat. It was a bad joke, B-Dog. But what I realized right then, what the hell? I have 2 minutes. What I realized that night or by the next morning is that these relationships that I have with people that are where I'm parasitic to them, like B-Dog, because he's mostly been devoting his time and money and efforts towards helping me for 23 years, are these parasitic relationships that I have with so many people where they approach me and they submit to me, and they and thanks to booze and drugs, and they want me to teach them when they're unteachable. They lack the cranial capacity. That's what I should mention before I go here, is one of these wacky, weirdo, ugly, fat, 500-pound chatline bitches said that it looks like I have like a pinhead or an egghead. No, it's all about camera angle and flat lenses. My head is huge. It's perfectly formed. But I really want to just end this with the fact that, without booze and drugs, we would have nobody to clean our toilets, pick our peppers, you pepper belly chili pickers, or, muck out our sewers. So, There's a place for everybody on this planet. You just need to learn your place and freaking stay there. I know my place. It's right here, and it's the top of academia too.